I'm so excited to start this video that I don't even think I could do a proper intro. So, hello, let's get started. So, one of the prompts in HRCYED 2 is to participate and complete another readathon. So this is where it starts to kind of feel like Inception. The readathon that I've chosen to participate in is the Magical Readathon. You create a fictional or fantasy character and you play as this character trying to earn credits for classes and graduate from the Orilium Academy. Choose a calling, which is like a major if you want to think about it in college or university terms, and each major has mandatory prompts that you have to complete. Unlike HRCYED 2, where I can double up, this is not the case. So it officially starts in September and it is September 4th, so it has already started. So the other thing about this readathon is that even though in typical college university fashion you would start in the fall and that would be your first semester and then spring would be the second semester, they have it so that you start at the beginning of the year and it's on a year basis. So spring is first semester and fall is second semester. And as always, this is a readathon that is super inclusive and allows anyone to start wherever, and there are so many options if you did just want to start in a fall semester and count that as your first one. There are no rules against that. There are actually things put in place that can help you achieve that. But when this readathon first came out, or not first came out because I'm pretty sure it's been going for a while, but around 4 years ago, there was this journey called the Novice Path, and it was a way to kind of prelude the academy. It was a journey to the academy itself. While I don't think it's something that they talk about all the time now, because it's basically just you start with whichever semester you can and you stay there for as long as you want. But I was really intrigued by the Novice Path, and because I am going back and forth between like what character I want to play as for the time being or, you know, put into this world, I think it would be a really good opportunity for me to kind of explore who this character is. And also it will provide a readathon challenge that I can participate in without feeling super overwhelmed. The first time the Novice Path was introduced, it was actually a September month-long challenge, so it's perfect. Then next spring I will hopefully have a character and I will be able to participate feeling like I did a setup, if that makes sense. So that is my plan for September, and today I have my traveler's key. The story goes that there is a path that leads to a portal that will take you up to Orilium Academy, and along the path there is the Novice Path entrance, the ash-torn tree, the Mist of Solitude, Ruin of Sky, Obsidian Falls, Tower of Rumination, and then the Orilium Academy arc. So those are all places that you stop on the way to the academy, and each one has a prompt. It does say that you only have to complete 2 prompts to successfully reach the Orilium Academy, but because this is a readathon and it would not be HRCYED 2 if it didn't at least somewhat challenge me, I'm going to be completing all of them, hopefully. So that's 7 prompts, which means at least 7 books this month, and then any for extra credit opportunities that I want to do. It is September 4th, so I have to kind of plan this out and get it all set up. Maybe I'm just excited because now that I've graduated, I don't have school or university to look forward to, and this is like my way of having that again. I don't know. Either way, I'm excited. I think I've got some options, so let's see if these work. I have collected a few books that I think might work, and I want to try and fit them into the prompt. So the first one is to read a book with a map, and this one I actually already have picked out. I checked out Powerless from the Libby app, so I'm currently reading that one, and I just checked and it does have a map in the very beginning, so that one would count. Next one is A Book That Keeps Tempting You, are on top of your TBR. That one kind of applies to a lot. These are 3 books that I feel like I have been waiting to get to on my TBR, and they keep tempting me, so any of those would count. However, this is the only standalone. You guys, I'm pretty sure this one's a standalone. Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, I'm pretty sure it is a standalone, so I'm thinking that this one might count for my Mist of Solitude prompt, which is read a standalone. So I'm gonna put that there. It is quite a big one. I am nervous for this TBR. I don't know, am I gonna be able to do this? Because it says complete, not participate in. It says complete. Okay, I think this one might be my book that keeps tempting you, and it is Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. And this one I've been wanting to read for so long, so not only does it fit the TBR aspect, but I have been wanting to read it for so long. So, and it also makes me happy that it is on the shorter side, so that hopefully I will actually stand a good chance of completing this. Next, read a book featuring ghosts, a haunted house, or other supernatural elements. Supernatural. This is A Song of Legends Lost, and this is the April Illumicrate version. It is beautiful, and even though, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm just now starting to realize how thick all of these books are. Already with 7 books on the TBR, 7 prompts, that's more than a book a week. I don't know if I could finish this in a week. Okay, well, I'm gonna put it on the list anyways, and we will see. We'll see if I can complete this. As for completing them in order, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my darndest to complete them in order, but no promises. All right, read a thriller or a mystery book. I actually do not think I have any outright thrillers on my shelf. I know I need to diversify, but I have 2 mysteries. I've got the Twyford Code, and then I also have The Woman in Cabin 10, and I've been wanting to read both of these. This one I actually got from my local little library, I think that's what it's called. So that's why it's a little, but that's okay. That just means it's loved. And I love the fish on it with the symbols. This is just a fun cover. So I think I'm leaning more towards this one. And oh, the other thing that makes me really happy is that there's audio transcripts. And as a linguist, we actually learned how to do those. And the code in the front, yeah, the key, all of that is very accurate and is actually what we used and what we had to memorize. So that's kind of fun. I think I am leaning towards that. I totally forgot about that. 2 more. So read a 5-star prediction. This one I kind of already had planned out. So I started Legendborn. I don't know if you see my little tabs. So I started Legendborn this week on Monday, and let me tell you, I am already obsessed. I kind of knew it was gonna be a 5-star before I went into it though, because I had been recommended it so many times, and especially on my TikTok. This one is definitely one that I will have to physically stop myself from reading. Gosh darn, I hate when that happens. All right, the last one, book with a school setting. So I have 2 options, and I think I know which one I'm going to lean towards for that one. So the first one is Immortal Consequences. This is a new one. I picked it up as soon as it came out. Sentence is Welcome to Blackwood Academy, the legendary school located on the fringes of the afterlife. So I'm pretty sure this would count. This is my September TBR. Oh my gosh. And if I don't finish this, then I can't check off my HRCYED 2 bingo box. Addison, my TBR is making me sweat. I'm scared. Okay, Okay, so I am 51% of the way through Powerless, and I want to talk about it. I will be making predictions. Like, honestly, this is probably just, it might spoil stuff, so I do want to give a warning to anyone who hasn't read Powerless. This is just my thoughts and what it reminds me of, and talk about how I feel reading through this book. I really like the premise. Oftentimes we have fantasy novels where the main character is special because she has powers, but this one, the main character is special because she does not have powers. So the first note that I made was about Jax. Then I made a prediction and I said, if he dies, it will really rub me the wrong way, as it will feel very much like many of the topics that I discussed in class. Boy, am I glad I read the next chapter. Okay, we'll continue for now. Because Jax is still alive. He did not die to enhance the plot or the white characters' emotional states. Gosh. But if that ever happens again, I will be putting down this book for sure. Anyways, but yeah, the trial itself just feels really weird and strangely modernized because of the powers that they have. I just want to be honest and have a conversation about books, because if everything's good, then what can you have a conversation about? Nothing. The thing that I like is that I think it's written really well. There's a lot of fighting. You guys, this book has way too much fighting for me personally. It feels like every time I turn the page, they're getting into a fight with a new person. And I am so impressed with the author, because writing battle scenes and like fighting scenes is so hard. And this author does it really well. She does it really well. But there's just so much of it. And don't even get me started on the injuries. I love a who hurt you moment. I love a tending to your wounds moment, but it's lost its sparkle at this point. I'm also reading another book for Secret Challenge number 3, and you can see part of it behind me. And that one is actually really good. That one I'm excited for. It is called Night Owls by A.R. Vishny, and it is about Jewish vampires. It's 8 o'clock on Sunday, September 13th, and I just finished my first book of the month, and it was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I'm not gonna lie, I went into this one with very, very high expectations, and it did not meet them. This one just isn't for me, and that's okay. I found it too cliche. There were way too many fighting scenes for me to actually care about when characters got hurt. I just did not connect with anybody in this novel, so by the end, when stakes were, being set up, I just couldn't care less. Okay, so I started Godkiller by Hannah Canner the other day. I am on page 66, 67, and I am really loving this one so far. After reading Powerless, this is exactly what I needed. I was pretty much hooked from the first page. The way that this world works and like how gods cling on to this world is just very cool. I love when magic systems just kind of make sense. Honestly, it wasn't going to update quite so soon, but I was just reading and a quote almost made me break out into tears. Like, it was just like so sudden, so unexpected, the way that this story has been hitting me. The quote is on page 67 if you are interested. I guess since this video is going to have a ton of spoilers anyways, I can go ahead and do that. I will just put a spoiler warning. Anyways, on page 67 of this book, it says 1256, repeated Aaron, from every house, every province, dead for her foolishness. Save your tears, sister. I ran out of tears for her at 1. I don't know, that's just like, that hits really hard. I just finished Godkiller by Hannah Canna less than 20 minutes ago, and it was a 5-star read for me. That was pretty amazing. I did kind of tear up at the end. That is on camera. It's great. Very good. So I have run into a dilemma. It is currently September 22nd, which means that we are 8 days away from finishing this month. And I've only read 2 books. Now that's a problem. That's a problem because and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change some of my reads. I completed 3 books on September 22nd, which is crazy, and I will tell you how I did that. It's actually not that big a video. Anyways, okay, so I completed Godkiller as my first one that day. I didn't have a lot of it left, and it went by super fast, so it was an easy one to complete on the 22nd. And then I also completed my secret prompt number 3 book, which was an audiobook called Night Owls. And that one I had done like 50%, maybe more than that. So I just had a few hours left and I just knocked it out that day. And then later that night, right before I went to bed, my hold on the Apothecary Diaries number 1 came through, and so I just sat down and read that really quickly, and it was like maybe a 20-minute read. So I completed 3 books on the 22nd, and so that puts me at 4 books total for this month, all of which go towards my readathon. Making progress on this reading challenge. It has been hard, I will not lie, but if I do want to complete this readathon, I should just start reading and stop talking. Yeah. Okay, so we're at the main battle. Do you see how much I have left? I'm freaking out. This is crazy. Oh, look, there's a kitty. Hold on. Let's go find the kitty. Oh, kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty. I just finished Legendborn and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This one is going to be a 5 stars for me, and I will definitely be continuing on with the series. The question is how I'm going to get my hands on that. At one point I was like, I don't know how much more of this I can take. That was the 5th book that I've read this month in September and the 5th book for the readathon challenge. I am finally making progress. Now that I've finished this one, I can move on to the 6th book for the readathon, which is going to be the Twyford Code. Oh my gosh. This one was really good. It kind of made me a little sad to think about, like, is this what my life is gonna come to when I'm older in like 50 years? So definitely kind of freaked me out a little bit, not gonna lie. The aspects of like the main character going back in time to talk about his past kind of turned me off of the story a little bit, just because I was so intrigued by the current plot and like trying to figure out the mystery. But the way that it all fit together was so perfect. It meshed so well, and the plot twist at the end was so good. I'm gonna give it a 3 stars just because, for reasons. Maybe a 3.5. I think 3.5 is fair. Alright, this is an update on the readathon. It is currently September 29th, so I did finish it before the end of the month, which is crazy. Let me tell you about the books that I completed and my ratings, if I can remember that. The readathon that I completed was the Novice Path, that follows the character creation aspect, or like the prologue of the Orilium Academy readathon. And I decided to do this one because I was a little late to the Orilium Academy readathon for this year, so this was my way of participating while also setting myself up for success in the spring, which I'm really excited about because I definitely do want to do that one. So for the Novice Path entrance, the prompt was to read a book with a map. For this one, I completed Powerless, and I gave this one a 1.5 stars. The next prompt was the Ash Thorn Tree, which was to read a book that keeps tempting you, or a book that was on top of your TBR. For this one, I completed Godkiller, and I gave that one 5 stars. Then the next prompt was the Mist of Solitude, and the one that went with that was to read a standalone. This one was really challenging because I was going to read much thicker books, but because I was starting to run out of time, I decided to switch up my entire readathon TBR, which is totally fine. And the one that I finished for that was my sailing textbook. It was 95 pages, and I had to complete it. It was recommended reading for the class, and I would give that one a 4 stars. It was very helpful to what I was learning, lots of vocabulary, and it defines everything, and lots of good tips. The next prompt is called Ruin of Sky, and the prompt that goes with that one is read a book featuring ghosts, a haunted house, or other supernatural elements. The book that I completed for this one was Night Owls, and it was my secret prompt number 3 book. It heavily features ghosts, so I felt that this was an appropriate book to fit in for this prompt. That one I gave a 4 or a 4.5 stars too. I can't remember. I think it was 4 stars. The next prompt is called Obsidian Falls, which required me to read a thriller or a mystery book. So for that prompt, I read the Twyford Code. This one was really good. At first, it was a little slower paced, and I was kind of wondering if I would ever get into it, but the mystery was really nice, and the end took me by surprise for sure. It did completely fall apart by the end of it, so that's the sign that I enjoyed it, right? The next prompt is titled Tower of Rumination, and that prompt required me to read a 5-star prediction. At first, I had considered Legendborn to be that book, but because it was coming up so close to the end of the month, I really wanted to read something fast and something that I would fit this prompt, and for that I ended up reading the Apothecary Diaries #1, and that's not the light novel, the manga. So that one I did predict to be 5 stars because I have watched the series, the anime, and really liked it. So alright, and then the last prompt for the Novice Path is Orilium Academy arc, and that one requires me to read a book with an academia or school setting. For that one, I chose to read Legendborn, and this was definitely a 5-star. I am so excited to continue with this series, and just everything about it was so amazing. I have completed all of the prompts on the Novice Path. The only thing I have left to do is to complete the quiz and complete filling out my original character storyline. Basically, once you complete your Novice Path, you get to answer these questions, and at the end of it, something happens. Answering these questions through the lens of my original character, who I am currently starting to create as I go through this process. Anyways, so after answering the questions, it has the results on the back, which is based on symbols, and then you collect a shape from each answer and count how many of each you get. So my pattern was diamond, triangle, triangle, circle, triangle, and then the one shape that you have the most of is going to determine the invitation to a guild that you get. So because I had a majority of triangles, I have been invited to join the Mind Walkers. So that's exciting. And then after that, I filled out my Scholar's Key, which was my guild, calling, certification, background, province, heritage, and lunar phase at birth. So a lot of that was also me deciding what I wanted to choose. So because we did complete the Novice Path, I am technically a novice now. So I checked that one off. My character grew up in urban Dark Meadow and is an air earthling. And I put unnoted as the lunar phase at birth just because I thought that was kind of fun and mysterious. And then the name I'm pretty sure I've decided on is Lark. I do have to find a last name, but I think the first name of my character is going to be Lark. Okay. Are we ready to complete the second prompt of HRCYED 2? Okay, let's go back. Oh my gosh, look it. We've got this green spot and this green spot. Thank you so much for following me on the Novice Path, and I hope if you are interested you will complete it for yourself because it is so fun and honestly can be done anytime. You don't have to wait until September. That was just something that I wanted to do. So thank you again for watching and joining me. Until next time. Thanks so much.